All right, time for highlights from the Viterra Men's Provincial Championship, this year held in Portage-La Prairie at the newly named Stride Place. Let's go straight to the semifinal featuring Team Mike McEwen and the surprise of the week, Team Trevor Loreth out of the Granite. A great story for sure, but definitely tough going up against the defending provincial champs and Team McEwen. In the first end, Brad Haight, who throws 4 stones for Loreth, needs a hit and roll to lie a shot rocked, and he won't get the roll, allowing McEwen a pretty standard draw for 3. And just like that, it's 3-0 Team McEwen. To the third end, and Haight needing another hit and stick to pick up 1, but it will roll out, and McEwen will steal another, making it 4-0. Same story in the next end as Haight is short on a draw, and that means another steal for McEwen, and the Fort Rouge squad would roll from there. This game only needed 8 ends, McEwen defeating Loreth 8-2 to set up the final and the matchup that everyone expected. Team McEwen taking on the top seed Team Reed Carruthers with a trip to the Brier on the line. Carruthers defeated McEwen in the 1-versus-1 page playoff game earlier on in the tournament, so McEwen looking for redemption here. Let's pick it up in the first end with a McEwen rock mostly buried. Carruthers needs to pick it out of the house to score, and he's not going to get all of it. A steal of 1 for McEwen to begin things. Carruthers, though, will respond in the second end as he has this draw for 2, and that deuce will put him up 2-1. Let's move to the 6th end now, and Carruthers holding a 3-2 lead. Team McEwen's going to go back on top with this draw for 2 from their skip. 4-3 Team McEwen. Now Carruthers will get his pair back in the 7th, so let's move to the 8th and the turning point of this game. Carruthers leading by 1. Needs to bury his rock here to sit shot with a bunch of McEwen rocks hovering all around the 12-foot.
I'm good. Can you a little far again?
But Carruthers' stone will roll too far, and it sets up McEwen a chance for a double takeout.
Clearly wouldn't get this big score.
And he will make no mistake for 1, 2, 3, 4 points and an 8-5 lead. To the 10th now, McEwen still ahead 8-6. He just needs to hit one of Carruthers' remaining rocks and sit in the house with his final stone here, and he will do just that. An 8-7 final. And another provincial title for the Fort Rouge team. All right, pleased to be joined now by the second on the 2017 Manitoba Men's Provincial Curling Champions, Matt Wozniak from Team Mike McEwen. Congrats once again, Matt, on a provincial title. First of all, you guys said after your win that this second provincial title, you've won back-to-back years now, this second provincial title felt better than the first. Now that you had a couple days to kind of savor it, do you feel that's still the case?
Yeah, it was the first one was a strange scenario with the fact that we had sort of secured the Brier spot prior to the game being played. So there was pressure in that game a little bit. It was a little bit different. Obviously, you were kind of, not wanting to go to the Brier with having lost your provincials. So just a very unique feeling. This one was pretty legit in that there was definitely the pressure all the way through the game, and then the relief at the end to have won. So
yeah. Mike openly spoke to the media during the Viterra week about how much, turmoil was kind of happening with this team. It was a tough result at the beginning of the year, and you guys actually had a meeting around Christmas time where you talked about a lot of things, and he mentioned kind of how the future of the team was almost in doubt. How important was a meeting like that to have, maybe, and do you think it maybe helped you on the road to this provincial championship?
It was crucial, mandatory, however you want to say it. I wouldn't be standing here with you right now if that meeting didn't occur. It was, this team's been together 10 years, and you're spending thousands of hours together, and you run into speed bumps along the way, and personalities clash, and people get annoyed with each other or whatever. So a lot of times, a lot of these things sort of get swept under the rug, and it's important to get all of that out into the open, things that are bothering you, and kind of like a marriage, I guess, in that sense. But so we did that, and it was a tough conversation. You know, people got mad, and but then at the end of the day, it really sort of lifted sort of this weight off of our shoulders, and then we had a couple really good events after that, and then obviously this past one. So
it came down to you and Team Carruthers, kind of the expected final. You guys lose to them in the 1-versus-1 game, drop down to the semi, have to win that to get back to the final, where of course you win. Mm-hmm. What was the difference maybe between that 1-versus-1 game and the final, which allows you guys to come out on top in the end?
We were okay after the 1-1 game. You know, we had a bad pick on one of Mike's rocks late in the game, which was huge, probably cost us the game. And we were, you know, maintained that perspective and knew we were playing well, and everybody was throwing the rock well, and kept a good attitude. We actually were able to throw the same rocks in the semifinal game, and we found that Mike had a rock that was actually reacting a little bit differently than his other ones. So it was a bit of a blessing in disguise that we got to play that morning game against Loreth, and because we were able to figure out a lot of these rocks and pick some good pairs for the final, which at that level, the stones and the variations in the stones is a pretty big thing. So we were really confident going into the final that we had good rocks, and that we were ready to go for that.
Right. I guess the big moment in that game was when you guys picked up 4 in the 8th end, I believe it was. How strange was that, and did you expect anything like that to happen so late in the game? Yeah,
it was pretty innocent looking. I mean, after I threw, it was pretty wide open, and then BJ made a little shot behind a guard, and they started to sort of add up a little bit. You know, I think Reed was really trying to prevent us from getting 2. And then he just had a couple shots that undercurled, and all of a sudden we've got this fairly makeable shot for 4 that Mike made really well. So yeah, it was unexpected, but stuff like that happens in those big games. Like, you know, you get we've seen it against us lots of times over the years, where you press a little bit and you miss one shot, and all of a sudden the guy's got a big end going. So
yeah, with all these wins, you know, you guys put yourselves in the Manitoba curling history books. You're the 6th team to win back-to-back provincial titles, the only team actually to make 4 straight provincial finals. Do you guys kind of sit back and look at all that history and kind of say how great this is, or are you guys worried about history yet, and do you just kind of, is that something you kind of will think of later on maybe in your career?
Yeah, I don't think anybody thinks of that. We were sort of writing the history books with how many times we had lost that final game, which we were trying to, you know, get around that. So to have won a couple now is really nice. But yeah, the 4 in a row thing, I didn't really realize that until you just said it. So it's, you know, it's just trying to get into that final and then hoping that things go your way.
Yeah, and finally you go to your 2nd straight Brier. Coming off a 4th place finish last year, it was a tremendous field last year, will be a tremendous field this year. I mean, you play these teams all the time on the Grand Slam circuit, but what is it about maybe the Brier environment that you guys learned from last year that you can maybe take into this year?
It's like nothing we've ever played, and we thought it would be similar to an Olympic trials type of atmosphere, but it's so much more than that. The crowd is so much more interactive, and everybody's just having such a good time there. The length of the games and the length of the week is something that we weren't ready for last year. So there's a lot that we're going to take from that and do differently this year to make sure that we're able to perform throughout the whole thing, you know, have enough rest going through to make it to the end, and we're playing good enough right now to have a good shot at winning it. So that's the plan.
Well, congrats once again, and best of luck at the Brier. It's Matt Wozniak, the 2nd on Team Mike McEwen, back-to-back provincial champions. And that will do it for another episode of Hurry Hard, the Manitoba Curling Show here on Shaw TV. We want to thank the West Kildonan Curling Club for having us down, and of course, thanks to all our great interviews. You can watch full episodes of Hurry Hard on our YouTube page. That's Shaw TV Winnipeg that you can search. And of course, you can follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter at Shaw TV Winnipeg. So we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hurry Hard.